Hey guys, Hello Bella here. This is going to be my update video for the entire year of 2020. I'm going to show you my total sales, the amount of money that I made, what types of shirts I sold, and my plan for 2021 going forward. So total gross sales, which is the amount that the customer paid, was around $121,000. So that means I sold six figures in t-shirts with merch by Amazon. And the portion that I got to keep was that $26,173 in royalties. So five figures from this business this year. And I am really, really happy with that. This is my best year on merch by Amazon so far. And a lot of you guys know that I have been on and off with this. I don't do this consistently, which I think is the biggest reason that I haven't grown a whole lot over the years. I have been doing this since 2017. So this is my account after essentially 3 years of trial and error. So if you are on the lower tiers and you're trying to scale yourself up, please don't compare yourself to people who have been doing this for much longer than you. It's definitely not an overnight success. I've had years where I only did $6,000 on merch by Amazon. And I think that one of the things we have to think about going forward is to kind of anticipate what is going to change on the platform and see how we can squeeze as much money out of this as possible. So let us go ahead and take a look at each month here. You're going to see that the most of my income came from fourth quarter, September, October, November, December. I know September is not fourth quarter, but September is when my sales really started to spike. They went to $2,449 for September. $7,148 for October, and then my best month this year was November, $7,168, and then we dropped back down in December to $5,655. So the bulk of my income really did come from the last part of the year. Obviously, April, we had the beginning of the pandemic. Merch by Amazon was shut down, so we did not have any sales in April. My sales throughout the year were decent, but they were not great. I'm seeing a lot higher sales already in January of this year. I think January of this year, I'm already, around $1,300 so far this month in royalties. And I'm making this video on the 22nd. So I haven't made a video in a little bit. I've been kind of slow on YouTube lately. I will say that I've been taking a little bit of time off this beginning of the year to kind of reset myself and focus on my goals and kind of decide what I'm going to prioritize this year. And one of the things that I've really been looking into lately has been real estate. So I'm probably going to buy another house in the next year or so and have that as a rental property. So with that being said, this money is really, really helpful for me to put into my other businesses. So total sales, we had 5,881 sales. We had 286 returns, which is pretty on point with what I usually find. My average royalty per sale was $4.45, so that's rather high. I think the main reason for this is because I did raise my prices on some items, and I did go ahead and price those t-shirts at $19.99, and I priced a lot of my hoodies at $34.95, some of them at $32.95. So I think that that really helps me get my average royalty up. And it really is all about how much can you make per sale, because, if you have an item that doesn't sell a whole lot, if it only sells once a month, you really want to be able to get $4 or $5 for that item instead of only getting $1 or $2 for that item. So average royalty per day, $71.51. That is what I put into my pocket every single day. And average per month was $2,181. And that is a great amount to make per month. One thing that about being an entrepreneur and being self-employed is that you need to go ahead and think about your income on a yearly basis. I don't really think about the slow months as being slow because I know that they're going to be slow. Like, that's why I take a lot of time in January, February, March to just kind of focus on my own life, my personal life, not so much on my business. I'm always thinking about my business, but a lot of the time in the beginning of the year, that's a time for us to plan and to think and to sort of look at a deep dive of what we're going to do in our business. So one thing that I would urge you is to kind of think about the big picture. Don't think about every single day or every single month. Think about it in terms of like your yearly income and how can you scale up your yearly income. Are there things that you can do in order to get your income from, say, $25,000 a year to $30,000, or from 40 to 50? That's just kind of how I choose to look at it. So my best day was $1,137, and this was on my birthday, which I find hilarious. I'm babysitting my friend's basset hound, and he has found the chew toy. I'm really sorry, but you can't have this. She has a Freddy Krueger chew toy for him. I'm really sorry, buddy. After the video, you can have it back. He's a handful. He's going home tomorrow, so we won't have to be babysitter for him until tomorrow. But anyways, as I was saying, best day ever on Merch by Amazon. Best day in the year and best day ever was $1,137. That was on my birthday, and that was something that I was really, really thankful for. The best month this year was $7,168. Scrolling down, we're going to see a little bit about the data of what sold. So 616 unique products sold, despite the fact, guys, that I have around 7,000 designs uploaded. So we've got 8.8% of all live products sold. One thing to keep in mind is that I do upload some designs on multiple, like I might have one design that's uploaded for 20 different slots. Sometimes I will even take the same design and upload multiple slots for a different color of the shirt. I'll only put one color on each slot that I fill, and I feel like that helps sometimes in the search results, especially when you're trying to dominate a certain category or a certain search term. Just helps you to push out designs a little bit faster. And I've always said that it's good for them to be picking between you and you, right? So they want to be picking between all of your designs. If there is a phrase that I type in, I want my shirts to be the ones that pop up on the first couple of lines. Otherwise, you're pretty much lost on Amazon after that point. Because I don't know about you, but I start to think that the products on page 2, 3, 4 are sketchy products, even though they might not be. But I just don't really have a lot of trust for that. And I'm assuming that the average Amazon customer has a similar line of thinking. Okay, the next thing that we're going to dive into is what types of items sold. So the top performer was the standard shirt, which sold 3,164 times. Second in line was the V-neck. I sold 1,600 V-necks. Third was the tank top. I sold 248 of those. And then we have our premium shirts. One of the reasons why premium shirts sold for me was because I have a couple of Christmas designs that do pretty well, but I no longer upload anything to the premium shirts because the quality and the reviews are so bad that I always get people returning them. So I actually stopped uploading much to premium shirts. And that's kind of like a personal choice. You don't have to do that. It's just kind of something that I've realized I don't want to do anymore. Obviously, I leave my current premium shirts that are doing well. I just left them up, but I don't upload anything else. Pop sockets. So we sold 200 pop sockets. Hoodies, I sold 149 of, 107 sweatshirts, 80 iPhone cases, and 76 long sleeve shirts. 21 of those old Raglan shirts, nobody wants them. 13 Samsung Galaxy cases, 11 tote bags, and 3 throw pillows. So I did sell a handful of tote bags and throw pillows, not a ton, but obviously I got those up towards the end of the year, so I didn't have a lot of chance to make sales for Christmas for those, but I did upload quite a bit of those. On this line, you're going to see sort of the amount of women's versus men's shirts that I sold and the types of coloring that I used on the shirt. So the most popular was dark heather, then there was asphalt, and then there was black. And that was the majority of the shirts. I found that light text goes best on those darker shirts, and that's just what I prefer to sell. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, but why rock the boat? Kind of do what works, especially when there is a standard for what is working right now. One thing that I can kind of tell you guys is that in my Merch by Amazon career so far, I have struggled to be one of those trend persons. Like, I can't really keep up with the trends as fast as they go. So I try to make shirts that are sort of almost timeless and things that I can relate to personally. I do a lot of shirts that have meanings that I guess only a small subset of people would really know or understand, and just sort of some causes or beliefs that I have. So if you have something like that, you can use that to target a market that only you know about. And I find that it's much easier to do that than to try and go after what everyone else is going after. Not to say that I don't do some popular designs. I think my best seller this year was a plant shirt, and another one of my best sellers was a dog shirt. But obviously those have to be scaled down very far in order to be selling, in order to be ranked. So, you can find those categories, but you really have to dive deep into certain aspects of them in order to make sales. The last thing that I will go over with you is taking a look at some of my top selling designs. These are the designs that made me the most money in 2020, and they're not necessarily the best designs, they're just the ones that took off. One of the things that I can tell you is that being first to market is my number one advice for you on Merch by Amazon. Like, if you literally do nothing else, being first to something puts you at a huge advantage for being able to make those initial sales and being able to rank. One of the things that I noticed is that once I made a shirt, even if there was no other shirts, once I made the shirt, other people made the shirt. So, just being that first one to make it, don't worry too much about it if you don't see any others up. If you know in your gut that this is something that people would wear and something people would buy, just go ahead and get a few shirts uploaded. I did actually tier up to the 10,000 tier, so now I've got 3,000 more slots that I'm going to have to fill this year. Just made a sale. If you heard that cha-ching sound, I love hearing that all day long, especially when I'm working on other things and I'm still making money. So this is probably what most of you guys are going to want to talk about here. My best-selling shirt made me $8,069. It sold 1,430 times, and I'm not trying to be smug with you guys. This literally was just an accident. It was one of those phrases where, like I said, nobody had it up on the Merch by Amazon platform yet. I think I might have saw it on Etsy or saw it on some kind of like feminine website, and the phrase itself was in a good niche, and I was like, this could work. This is a little punny. It's kind of a punny phrase, and so I went ahead and uploaded that to a standard, a V-neck, and a tank top, and that design made up most of my income for 2020. So the reason that I think the V-neck did so well, I just think that it took off, and it actually was, whenever people were typing in this phrase on Amazon, it was coming up in all of the clothes, just in general clothing on Amazon. So I think that helped me a lot. And below it is the same design on a t-shirt. So that made me $3,049. You can see this one design has made me $11,000 off of this one design. So I was totally freaked. Like, you guys, I could not believe it. Like, I told my mom, I was like, I just cannot believe that. She's like, well, I'm glad that you made it. You should make 10 more. And so I got to thinking about what she said, make 10 more. Like, it's so easy, right, to just make a best-selling design. And I thought, wow, if I did have 10 more, that would be, $111,000 in royalties and profit. So one of the things I'm going to kind of focus on a little bit more this year is diving deeper into the niches, even deeper than I've already been diving, and trying to create new phrases, trying to come up with things on my own. And unfortunately, your things are going to get ripped off. There's tons of pages and pages of copycats on this particular shirt now, but it doesn't really matter that much because I've already made my money and I'm already in the top ranking results for it. So that is something that I kind of stumbled upon this year. It isn't something that I planned for. It's just something that happened that I'm really, really thankful for, but it would not have happened if not for the diligence and the work that I've put in the past couple of years of doing all this uploading, of doing all this learning about graphic design. There's a lot of little mistakes I could have made that would have caused this to not go smoothly. I could have had poor titles. I could have had, an uncensored design, or I could have had a crappy font choice, or I could have had, a poor graphic. So all those factors come into play, and there's a lot of elements that go into creating a good design. One thing that I'll touch on with all of these shirts that sold are things that I know specifically about. They're regional things. They're things that are near and dear to my heart, like I said, with the causes, or they may be something that I know somebody who they care about this thing. These are not necessarily all my political beliefs. It's just like some of these political shirts, you have to realize your target market feels very strongly about this cause or this thing. So when we are targeting them, we have basically an ability to pull at the emotional heartstrings of them. So whether it is a cause for the left or a cause to the right, I would strongly encourage you to look into political shirts. I believe this hoodie right here is a political shirt, and this design in particular, it took most of my designs, to be honest with you guys, take about 5 to 10 minutes to put together. I'm not one to spend a lot of time on designs. I'm not a graphic designer and I'm not an artist, so it's really important to me to just get as many designs as possible out there and to see what will sell. And that is kind of how I run my business. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. So if you don't want to do it that way, you want to do it a different way, that's totally fine. It's totally up to you. A lot of the people that I see having success on Merch by Amazon have just been consistent. That's a big part of any person who is successful, is just showing up every single day, doing the work, making the uploads. Like, if you have a goal to do nothing except for upload 10 designs a day, I think that's a really good goal, because to be honest with you, consistency is one of the best things that you can focus on, because you have these things that you'll get into the groove of, like a flow state is what a lot of people call it, where I can work on shirts for 6 hours if I really get into it. I have to make myself get up from my computer uh, in order to go and take a break. So that is just something I would share with you guys. And then down here, you'll see some of my sellers that don't sell as much. They might have sold 18 times, 20 times, 16 times, but that's still $83, $83, $85, $91, $93, $94, $99, $100. So that money all adds up as well. So you don't have to be the best seller of every single niche that you're in. You can just be like a consistent little seller, and those will definitely add to your portfolio, because those made up, the other half of what I sold on Merch by Amazon. I don't want to spend a ton of time talking, because I think that the best thing that you can do if you want to get better at Merch by Amazon is literally to just take action. I don't personally think that you need to buy any courses or do anything super extra or crazy, or get a coach or a mentor, or spend 6 hours a day on a Facebook group. Honestly, I don't do any of that. Um, and I think I've done okay. So hopefully you like the video, guys. I really want to encourage you to keep working on whatever you're working on this year. I do think 2021 is going to be a good year for all of us, and I'm wishing you the best success that you can possibly have. Just remember to keep putting in the work, stay consistent, and you will be able to reach your goals. I'll come to you with an update for the end of January, probably the first week of February, for Merch by Amazon sales. But until then, I will catch you in the next one.